Ladies and gentlemen, some crazy things are happening in crypto right now. On the one end, we've got massive amounts of fear because guys like Cristiano Ronaldo are getting sued because they worked with Binance, while on the complete opposite side, I have noticed some very specific triggers which make me believe you have to act right now. And what I mean with that, I'll explain later as we go in this video, but you do not want to miss the information that I'm going to be giving you later in this video, so watch it through. And there's a crazy amount of news to cover. But first, like I was saying, Cristiano Ronaldo is now getting sued because he promoted Binance. He got a sue. The thing is though, this doesn't really matter. It's just to install fear upon the crypto space and probably somebody just trying their luck, as with some of the Ripple lawsuits, XRP lawsuits we saw in the past. Because winning this is going to be extremely difficult, but it is bringing to light some issues. Because the whole point here is, if Binance is going down and now they settled, etc., should Cristiano Ronaldo be held in any way, shape, or form responsible? I mean, we saw this with the whole Crypto.com, Tom Brady, and all those other guys. FTX, I'm not so sure what's happening here with a lot of those guys. But then I personally think, as long as they did not think it was a scam, and they didn't do anything shady, it's like saying, well, if Adidas all of a sudden runs out of shoes and there's some big issues, all of a sudden Cristiano should be sued for that? I don't know. It's always a very difficult topic, these lawsuits. Before we move on though, what's your favorite crypto right now? Somebody asked on Twitter, if you had $500, which crypto would you buy? And I'd like to see from you guys in the comments section down below which coin you'd go for. And please guys, take a look at this. Apparently, Bloomberg right now is confirming Bitcoin ETF approvals have a 90% chance by January 10th. And you've got to understand that we all agree the moment that this comes through, Bitcoin will most likely go towards 50,000, 52,000 within a couple of hours, potentially the first couple of minutes or the first hour even. And so what a lot of people are doing is going on to platforms like Bybit. I'll leave a link down below. As a matter of fact, you can even get yourself a completely free trade with the link down below worth, I think, $1,000. Oh, it's $500, but still, it's a completely free trade. So check it out with the link down below. But basically because the certainty of this Bitcoin ETF coming in hot between the next month or two is getting more and more certain. It's getting higher and higher. And if we know such a major event is about to happen, yet prices are not shooting up just quite yet, it means there's still doubt in people's eyes, or the price is being suppressed. Updated filings have only added further clarity for the SEC after discussions, says senior ETF analyst 𝗕𝗓𝗄. But to be a little bit more specific on the date, John Deaton here said Joe has been more reserved, realistic, than others with regards to the spot Bitcoin ETF. So this caught my eye. And the date he is referring to, as you can see right here, he said, I'd put my money on Friday, January 5th, or Monday, January 8th for approval of several spot ETFs. Those dates make the most sense in my opinion. And John has some additional interesting words on that, saying, I'm old now, so I've learned the lesson several times over that I can't time the market. Which is why I always tell you guys time in the markets is more important than timing the markets. Especially if you've got the dedication and potentially the funds to dollar cost average. Because if you're in an industry like we're in now, that's so powerfully growing, it is very hard to do bad. The hardest part really is just to get in, just to buy it your first time. It's by far the hardest part. And to get, I guess, a list of different cryptos. A lot of people get stuck on that phase, knowing not which cryptos to buy. But my suggestion is always, just buy a couple of the first ones you see and go from there. The most important part is getting in. But not financial advice. I think Joe is likely correct that it could be a sell the news event, but notice Joe said a short-term correction. In my opinion, that short-term could pass by quickly, and then it's back to the races. I hate to be clique, but I think I'll hold. And that refers to the idea that if a Bitcoin ETF were to come in, the suggestion here, which is again where the doubt that I talked about earlier is set in stone, is that people are going to sell the moment that a Bitcoin ETF gets announced. But as we saw with the whole 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗡 Bitcoin ETF fake, I don't believe that's the case. I personally believe, yes, there are a lot of people who believe that the moment a Bitcoin spot ETF comes, the price will shoot up because of injections of money. I don't think so. I personally think that it's just going to open up the floodgates, but it's not going to flood in straight away. People are excited about the announcement though, and I do believe that that FOMO and that excitement is going to overrule and outdo a lot of the sell the news type of characters and funds. Meaning I still expect the price to move upwards, even though I'm not sure it will last there. But, never underestimate crypto in a bullish market, and right now we are pretty bullish. We've got to add though that things are right on time. And even though I've got many stories to tell you about this, the only thing I'll tell you is, realistically speaking here, the way that Bitcoin is performing, the way the crypto market is performing, it's not really different than any previous run. Many people would like to think so, and they keep saying, no, this time it can be different. And so this time I want to do that and that and that. And my honest answer to that is, don't change a working recipe. As of this point, the difference is indeed that more institutions are getting in, and they could definitely manipulate prices. But as far as it stands, the way the prices have moved have been nearly identical throughout all these different cycles. So why not expect it to work in the same way again? And if it doesn't, okay, we might be wrong for once. But to expect a similar sort of exponential result to come, I don't think that's crazy. I should add that the difference between a normal price and a realized price has to do with the fact that more Bitcoin are coming into existence. And so if, this is just an example, in 2012, Bitcoin was $10,000, and right now it will be $10,000. Obviously, the amount of Bitcoin in circulation would be vastly different. Whereas with one, let's say at the time there were about 10 million Bitcoin, and right now for the sake of ease, we'd say there are 20 million. Obviously, the market cap then would be half as high as it is right now. So you basically take the price relative to the amount of coins there are. Now, we were talking about Binance a little bit ago, right? One interesting thing to add is this right here. CZ has just actually also resigned from being the chairman of Binance US. And I asked him over on Twitter today, or it might have been yesterday actually, how's your first week of, vacation, even though I wouldn't call it that, been? And he says, well, he's got lots more free time. I personally don't believe he's not running Binance anymore. I think he's still running it now. And it'll be his baby forever, right? Even though he's not officially got the CEO position. In theory, they can always keep asking him questions. He can always still decide. And I'm guessing he's still a very big shareholder. It'll just have to be a bit more low key. And perhaps a lot of the easier tasks are now being taken off his hands. But I want to continue on with what I said at the start of the video. I said that right now I am noticing a shift. And if you're wondering what type of shift I'm talking about, it is a shift in excitement. Where if a project were to launch a couple of months ago, most people wouldn't touch it because they'd be afraid of losing money. Now, something launched, and again, I have absolutely no affiliation with these guys, but I'll tell you about it because I think the repercussions and the signals it gives off are important to understand. There's a new layer 2 up and coming. It's called Blast, and you don't even need to know exactly what it is, but they basically say it's got native yield and it's backed by Paradigm. So nobody cares about what exactly it does. It's backed by Paradigm, so people want in. Especially because things recently like Blur have given some people, one of my friends, 𝗕𝗏𝗪𝗏 got himself, $15 million or something like that. Anyway, so what these guys do is they're giving points to everybody who's depositing money onto that layer 2, where you cannot withdraw from yet, and they're giving you some yield for all the Ethereum whenever you send over, and you get blast points for it. Conclusion here being, the money sent over to something where you cannot take money out of, that might never officially launch, that's kind of got nothing on it, nothing to it, except for just being backed by Paradigm and being new and giving out points, has got $600 million put onto it within a couple of days. I think it's 5 days ago that it launched. That is insane. All right, that is absolute insanity. And it shows the status that crypto's in right now. People are looking for yield. People are looking for a return. People are looking for money. You see, 23rd of November here, so 6 days ago, it was just announced and people deposited like $200 million in a day. Now another 5 days have passed and it's at $600 million more value locked in the entirety of Solana on something that barely even exists, but just has proper backing. But I guess Solana had proper backing too from some of the most hyped VCs. Once more, I've got zero affiliation with this, so understand that these things could be scams or stupid. I don't know. I don't care. I'm just telling you guys about what I see. A lot of the tweets that I've been noticing are about Portal Coin. Now, what is that? Long story short, these guys are very freaking smart. They're just capitalizing on the idea that people want to earn points right now. Because for the most part, how it worked with Blur, this is like an NFT marketplace, is the more NFTs you trade, and now I think it's also the more of their token that you stake, the more points you get, and those points are worth money. So if you're wagering in the sense of you are bidding or buying and selling the NFTs, you're basically making money off of that. And apparently one of my friends is a professional, as he became #1, and as you can see right there, he's now got 73,000 points. I'm not so sure if the points are going to equate to actual Blur, but that in theory, I mean, he's already made $50,000, $40,000, $30,000. Nah, I think it's about $50,000 worth in about a week. So that's definitely not too shabby. Anyway, but that's why there's crazy amounts of hype on that type of stuff. And that's what you mostly notice in a bull market too. People looking for these crazy types of gains. Once more, I'm not affiliated with anything we talked about in this video. Sometimes I still see people say, Dusty, is this sponsored? If it's sponsored, I always put a sponsor tag on the video. Every single time. Just telling you guys what's up with crypto, and sometimes there are crazy things like this that are ongoing that are getting all the hype, and so it's worth it to talk about it. Matter of fact, what I always tell people as well is, if you've got enough time, but you don't have enough money, do things that are free. Sometimes that's faucets that I can recommend, even though it might be fractions of a cent that you get. Sometimes you can play games on the faucet, for example. What if one time you turn it into $1? If you had $0.000 worth, $1 can get you a long way. Might sound crazy, but it's really the truth. Remember, guys, I started this with about 20 bucks and I went for some crazy risk, and luckily it worked out because in a bull market, things just do really well. Or I tell them, try hunting airdrops. The only problem is that that's a little bit more difficult, so you have to really sit down and understand how to do it. But I guess when it comes to airdrops like this, the ones where all you've got to do is like tweet about them, all that type of stupid stuff. Yeah, it's not that bad. What's the chance of making money? I think it's pretty small. You don't know if they're going to launch, and potentially it'll be worth nothing because everybody's doing it. But then again, it's worth a try. But yeah, that's at least what I've been seeing in terms of narrative shift. A interesting amount of interest in these new things, and this this is funny. Buzzwords, layer 2, ZK rollup, paradigm, backed by paradigm. There's just crazy amounts of interest in it right now, and especially that keyword, I guess, airdrop or points. It's getting crazy amount of hype. Anyway, now you're back up to date. Fun fact, I met Charles Hoskinson today, founder of Cardano in Abu Dhabi. It was interesting. Didn't really get to speak much, but that was pretty cool. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you press that like button, and I'll see you guys again in another one, most likely later today. So just check back on the channel in a couple of hours, as I'll probably have posted something.